So we just saw this Bjorn Mello's video that I actually saw today for the first time. Max showed it to me because it was relating to this conversation we're having with the videos. And it actually relates again to what I was talking about, this work on Instagram that's on the phone, and it's going live all the time and shape-shifting through language. Because I do think a lot about this process here. Whenever anyone asks me about this non-performance work on the Insta stories and the Insta lives and these conversations, is that you're always looking at actually yourself. You know, somebody's like, oh yeah, but they're looking at you. And I'm like, not necessarily. Whenever we're looking at anyone and we're thinking something about someone, we are doing the thinking, we are doing the projecting, and we are identifying with, and we are reflecting. So there is a huge gap between what this person here, which already looks like somebody else, is being, and what it thinks it is. Like, for example, I'm just going to put it like this, even without the screen, is like, there's a huge difference as to who I am being, to who I think I am, to who you think I am, you know, and to how you're perceiving. And also there's this like Venn diagram to the entity that arises from when we meet. There is the entity that you are, the entity that I'm being, that you are being, that I'm being, and there's this intersection here, which is the combination of that. But there are huge, like, there's like abyss of a gap in between all this perception and the consciousness of this. But ultimately, this act of like seeing people in social media is a constantly reflective act. And I do believe that it's taking us together, whether we like it or not, or whether we perceive it or not, to some collective moment of self-realization. The same way you fight with yourself in the mirror and you'll be like, oh my God, you're such a dick, like you're an idiot, like when you're doing things, or like you're like, same we're doing with people. And like, for example, I've been observing on like social media as well, because my feed has like five languages, I speak 5. And apart from observing like even neocolonization through language, I can observe the mode that people were conversing, like we've been conversing on social media. So the beginning is like, I believe this, I don't believe that, fuck you, delete, block. 3 months later, I don't believe this, well, why don't you? Well, because this, well, fuck you, block. But you can see it's growing, and it's like, I don't, so what's your argument then? Well, my argument is this. Oh, that's very plausible. Like, so we're like collectively, through shit and being co-opted in algorithms and like cognitariat, cognitive capitalism, all of our produce being sold, all that apart, okay, that's the whole of the side. There is this that's happening, which is, regardless, we are collectively going through a process of reflection. And then I was thinking in the video, she's like, is this the magic mirror? I see you. Do you see me? On the video. And I feel like we're constantly doing this also in so many ways with social media. It's like somebody posted the other day, like, if you don't take a selfie, do you exist? Like nowadays, if you don't post a selfie, do you even exist? And I also noticed this, like, for a long time, before I started doing this work on my Instagram, there were like rarely selfies. And the minute you put your face once, it goes like loads of likes. And there's something about that. I'm curious about what is that like, why then suddenly when you have a face, like everybody's just like. It's like, oh, I see self somehow. Like there was a reflection. It's like, it's really hard for like, I put this piece and I'll be like, oh yeah, I see myself. No, like this, you see self. You kind of, you think about it. And so that's why I think that video is really appropriate to be there, just like reflecting on this and on the devices and the Black Mirror, and like actually saying this is very Black Mirror became a joke in Brazil, like because for example our political situation is so intense right now. Whatever happens, we're like, this is so Black Mirror, because it's like this future that we thought is actually here. And then also I was thinking about this the other day on like the aesthetics of the future as a problem to how maybe perhaps we don't perceive that we are already in that future, and maybe we should be taking care of some things, like for example in ecology. It's like, weren't we supposed to in 2017 be wearing silver clothes with massive shoulder pads and like flying skates, and maybe because things look so fairly norm to the past somehow, because we don't see the time passage in our frame. It's not like it feels the norm, so it doesn't feel like it's the future. It doesn't feel like it's actually everything getting fucked. I really, like the planet is like being eaten up. But we are. 2017, we're walking around with like tiny computers in our hands, and like we're going to Internet of Things. We're going to be like telepathic with whatever. Actually, we already can be though. We don't need to go post-human, transhuman to do this. But anyways, that's another subject matter. But anyways, that's why this video is here, talking about all this stuff. And just one more thing, maybe about this non-performance on Instagram, is that actually this is related to another video that's going to come in. So let's go.